Okay, hope
like,
you guys
oh,
are at least somewhat hungry.
oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look at that. Wow.
Definitely getting close for that.
Hey guys, so my family asked me to smoke a brisket for lunch the next day, and I really didn't want to stay up all night stoking the fire of my offset smoker and not getting any sleep, because I knew that I could make a really good brisket and serve it up in time for lunch, but I would be super tired and I wouldn't be really engaged or present for this super special occasion. What is that special occasion, you ask? Well, me and my wife just had a newborn baby. His name is Jacob. We love him very much, and he's our new smoking buddy, and we wanted this event to be special because our family is coming to visit him for the first time. Luckily, I was looking at the comment section of one of my recent videos, and I saw that one of my viewers left a comment about how restaurants deal with their briskets, and it gave me a really good idea about how to smoke a brisket overnight and still get a good 8 hours of sleep. So I want to share this method with you guys so that you can enjoy your family and serve up a great brisket to your family for lunch, but not be tired for it and still get some sleep overnight. So let's get to the video and let's get smoking. For this cook, I used a 13-pound Wagyu brisket, and I used my normal trimming method. I'm gonna link it up here, but I'm not gonna spend any time on it in this video. My family loves a nice Texas-style brisket, and for that, I just use a basic rub with 50-50 salt and pepper. My plan for this cook is to start cooking at 2 p.m. the day before this event. I'll manage the fire carefully for about 7 hours until the bark is set. Then I'll wrap it in butcher's paper with some tallow and finish it in the oven until it probes tender at around 10 or 11 at night. That gives me about an hour or two to rest it and stop the cooking process at around midnight. Now the problem here is I'll still have about 12 hours to go until lunchtime. And that's where the comment from one of my viewers comes in. The comment I was talking about earlier says at his restaurant, he holds briskets for 8 hours in a proofer. The temps are held at a food safe temperature of 150 degrees at this temperature, and the brisket won't go bad, and it also won't dry out or overcook. So after a bit more research, I also learned that Aaron Franklin holds his briskets for 12 hours, and that's what really sold me on using this method. If it's good enough for Barbecue Jesus, it's good enough for me. But the problem is most people don't have a commercial proofing oven in their home that goes down to a consistent 150 degrees Fahrenheit. So I had to find another solution, but I'll get to that later. So my brisket's sweating out, and I'm gonna fire up my Oklahoma Joe's and preheat it, but I'm running into a bit of an issue here. My makeshift baffle plate that I've been using for the past couple of years, it's just a basic Oklahoma Joe's grate wrapped in aluminum foil, but it keeps slipping down, and if that does that during the cook, it's gonna let a lot of direct heat in, and it's gonna potentially burn my brisket, so that's not good. It's already 3 p.m. and I wanted to start at 2, so I'm running into a little bit of time issues here, and I don't want to mess around with this, but I need to fix this. After sorting out my baffle plate issue, I put the brisket in the Oklahoma Joe's, fat side up, point muscle towards the fire, and I managed my fire at about 250 to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. My wife had been looking after the baby all night and all day, so I needed to look after Jacob, but that's okay because we both got to enjoy a nice beverage together, and we had some father and son time. After 7 hours, my brisket was getting some nice bark on it. The color was where I wanted it to be, and it was just climbing out of the stall. It had just sweated out a bunch of moisture, and that is the best time to start wrapping it. You don't want to wrap it before the stall because then you're just going to get a lot of moisture and liquid in your wrap, and it's going to dissolve all that bark, and it's going to take a lot longer. The internal temperature was around 170 to 180, but that doesn't really matter too much. You're really going by the color of the bark and the fact that you scrape a fingernail on it and the bark is set. It's not coming off easily. That's the best time to pull it out and to wrap it in butcher paper. Problem was things were not exactly going according to plan. After wrapping my brisket, I put it in the oven at 250 degrees Fahrenheit, but because I got a late start, it was already around 11 p.m. and that was when I was supposed to be done my brisket, and I still had a long way to go. It wouldn't end up finishing until early morning, which really cut into my sleep and it disrupted my entire plan. All right, it's 3 a.m. right now and the brisket is about 203 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's almost done. I'm gonna start doing my finishing checks, so I'll start feeling underneath the brisket for floppiness, and that'll tell me that it's done. I'll also start probing into it, and when it probes tender like butter, that means that brisket's done. When I finished resting the brisket, it was around 4 a.m. in the morning, and that's when I realized that my oven does not actually go down to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. So I had planned to put it in the oven again at 150 and to hold it for another 12 hours like Aaron Franklin does, but my oven did not go that low, so I really had no solution at this point. I tried to fit it in my Masterbuilt electric smoker, which does go down to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, but the brisket was too big, so that wasn't gonna work, and it was getting really discouraging around this time. Now, I'm used to sleep deprivation because I spent 10 years in the Army. I did a tour in Afghanistan. Sleep deprivation was just the name of the game, and you had to learn how to overcome it and do your job while still being tired. But now it's a little bit different because I have a newborn baby. I got to be there for him. I can't just like do my own thing anymore and go and barbecue all night and like not be present and engaged in being able to look after my son. So I really started to get worried that I was like overdoing it and kind of overextending myself at this point. And to be honest, deep down, I was afraid that now that I'm a dad and I have a newborn child and I'm a father, I wouldn't be able to do the same things that I loved to do before. And now I'd have to focus on taking care of my son, and I couldn't do those fun things. And that was like a real bummer for me because it was like, am I gonna lose out on my freedom? And I had to struggle with a lot of feelings of like whether I was being selfish or I don't know. At the end of the day, I have a son now and he's gonna model himself after the things that I do. And if there's one thing that I want Jacob to remember me for, it's that I never give up. So if my oven didn't want to go down to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, then I was gonna make it go down to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. After a bit of late night research, I found that my oven actually would go down to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I just had to set it so that it was minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit so that when I set it to 175, it would register at about 160, 155. I went to bed. I set an alarm on my meter to wake me up if the internal temperature dropped below 140 degrees or if it rose above 170. And then I woke up at around 11 a.m. in the morning, popped out of bed right before my family came. I grabbed my brisket from the oven and I was ready in time for lunch.
Go to town, Reg. Oh yeah, there we go. It was like untangled
Thank you.
from
Man, that was... I didn't expect it to be so tender. That's delicious.
You were so surprised.
Oh.
what like a
You just dropped brisket in your coffee? Throughout this journey, I learned that I can do the things that I love and still be a great dad. It just takes a little bit more planning and organization ahead of time. Now, if any of you dads out there were intimidated by doing an all-night brisket cook, I hope this helps you. My updated method is in the description section below this video. Just remember, if you want to be the family hero at lunchtime, you don't have to stay up all night. You just have to plan ahead a little bit. And if you're looking for a different method to smoke your brisket in time for lunch the next day, then check out this method where I smoke the brisket and then I reheat it the next day. Happy smoking, guys.